Hello world, I'm Matt Lucas at the famed William Street Boxing Gym with my good friend
Nadji.
It's great to be out here in Melbourne, Australia. Very excited for the Rebellion Roots show this weekend at the Melbourne Pavilion.
Correct.
A lot going on, of course, as always, in the world of Muay Thai. We had the One Championship fights this weekend with some surprising results. A few athletes didn't make weight or were unable to fight. So Michael Savas ended up fighting Panpayak Jitmoingnan. Did you get to see that?
Yeah, that was incredible, and I love Michael, and obviously a much different opponent to fight. So my heart goes out to him, but he's gonna be back.
Yeah, Savas is a very tough and determined kid. He's still relatively young in his career, so while he did take the TKO loss, right? Elbow. I'm sure we'll see both of them back in the ring. We also had Amber Martin from the UK versus your favorite fighter, or one of them maybe.
Diandra, yeah, it was a great fight, and I think Diandra's hands really started to spook Amber early on in the fight and sort of paid off for her.
Yeah, it's great to see both of them active. Amber hasn't fought in a while, and Diandra is coming back to the ring after the Smilla fight, so hopefully we'll see more from both of them. Who else did? Oh, we had Liam Harrison versus Nong Oh. That was a little flat maybe because of the stoppage, Liam getting his leg sort of blown out. The knee got twisted or something. Did you get to see that?
Yeah, I mean, like it was such a hard fight for him. Obviously that's a knee. He's got, a history of injuries and recos on, but end of the day, Nongo's power and targeted the leg, like low kicked it, not targeted the injury, but targeted the leg, and it is what it is.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to see Liam back in action at some point soon. I was very excited to see the Saempetch versus Rittewada fight. Did you see the first outing? Their first
I did, and I like both of those guys. Massive fan of Rittewada, but obviously Saempetch's been out in Rebellion a few times, and he's a favourite in Australia, so it was good to see him win, but never like seeing the knockout like that either, especially because I don't think he remembered what was going on for a while afterwards.
He definitely did not. In a post-fight interview with Bo, Bo was like, "Oh, where are you?" And Rittewada was like, "Oh, I don't know." Milo. So Rittewada got knocked out cold.
Yeah, savage knockout.
Yeah. But on the plus side, Saempetch got a hefty $50,000 bonus. Plus, maybe we can see him against Nong Oh again sometime in the future. We had quite a number of other things going on. On the stadium side of things, we had the great Pet Dam Pet Indy fight versus Trofa Tor Sanctinoi. That was on a Pet Indy show last Thursday. It was a very heated battle. Trofa got knocked down in the third round and then knocked down Pet Dam in the fifth. A lot of the gamblers were a bit upset about the decision, but they grouped together and ended up giving Chorfa 150,000 baht post-fight. So a fair amount of sticky rice there. Yeah,
and Chorfa was fighting a bit heavier than normal, I think, in that fight. And a lot of Australians have a big connection to the Sanctin Noi team because a lot of the, especially Melbourne-based fighters, go over there and train. So it wasn't a super popular decision in Australia, but he got the bonus anyway, so it works out well.
Yeah, Chorfa sometimes gets a rough end of things. Just in terms of career stuff, but he's a very, very exciting fighter. I think he's one of those guys that deserves a lot of international opportunities. Hopefully we'll see it in the future. Over at Fairtex Fight Promotion, we had an Aussie boy versus an Italian, Jaga Chan out of Mark Peasy's gym, Strikeforce. Jaga is now at Eminent Air, sort of a big connection between Strikeforce and Eminent Air. He fought Powerhouse Phuket's Ruben. It was a very, very good fight. Jaga is very, very heavy with his hands. Have you seen him fight out here on the Aussie scene?
No, I think actually I've seen him when he was younger, but not recently. I think I've seen him around when he was more of a junior, and they can fight in Queensland as juniors, but not sort of in Victoria and other regulated states.
Well, Jaga was able to knock down Ruben, I believe, in the second, and Ruben was on ice skates the entire time. He was not doing that well, but he had a decent amount of professionalism to him and was able to skate to the end of the round. And in the third round, he was almost looking like he was going to overtake Jaga. He landed some beautiful elbows, but unfortunately didn't do enough for the points. But a good performance from both athletes, and I think both of them are fighters to watch in the future.
And we've got a big connection from Australia to Powerhouse in Phuket there, with Sam Cassidy being one of the trainers and owners there. He's one of the Don Miller fighters, so they're producing some good guys and doing big things as well.
Yeah, the Powerhouse gym is actually moving locations in Rittewada. They're upgrading, so
Awesome.
Exciting to see. Last night over at the stadiums for the Palang Mai show, Raja Demnon show, which is held every week, so it's a source of my promotions. So more of a gambling side of things. Kong Klai Annie Muay Thai took on Pet Samani, Kong Klai taking the points win, and Noels and Silva also got the win there last night. Noels in a strong fighter from Phuket Fight Club, Brazilian boy, fights at a good weight, very competitive, a little short, but he's definitely one I think may do things in the future as well. Then a couple more things before we get into the big news.
Big news.
Of course. Saoxing, so Saempetch is moving over to its more promotional side of things. It's taking a bunch of female fighters over to Japan.
Amazing.
So that's always good to see. And then the WMC, or the reality TV show that the WMC is putting on, has announced a few fighters from the States. Zach Bennell and Amy Duke are going to be on it. So it's going to be very similar to the Contender Asia reality TV show, which did a lot for the landscape of the sport.
Huge. The original one that we saw here had obviously Jumwayne Pa, Jabbar Askarov, Soren. That was a memorable thing that made a lot of those guys really well known in the Australian Muay Thai community, and a little bit on the sort of mainstream as well, because it was on Fox Sports here.
Yeah, it was huge for me when I first started fighting. I remember meeting Soren Mongkong in Thailand at Boone, and I was like, oh wow, I saw you on TV. This is crazy, bro.
Soren's my favorite Australian fighter, so I love that dude.
Yeah, so great to see that. Hopefully good things coming there. And we know good things are coming this weekend for Roots and Rebellion. Do you want to talk a little bit about the lineup this weekend?
Yeah, so we've got the Roots card and Rebellion Muay Thai. Normally we do two completely separate shows in one day. So the Roots card will usually have 15, 16 fights, and Rebellion will have about 10 fights. This one we're kind of modifying it. We've got a smaller Roots card and a smaller Rebellion card running as one show. Roots is our novice pro event, so it's the guys who've had their amateur fights and they've just turned pro, sort of up to 3, 4, 5 fights. We've got a really good lineup with that. We've got a couple of debutants, and then working right through that, there's 9 bouts. The main fight on that I'm looking forward to is Simon Lang from Don Miller's gym against Iskandar Uzmanov from Riddler's gym. That's a match I think is going to surprise a lot of people, and that'll lead into the Rebellion card, which is it's good after all the lockdowns and things. I feel like we're getting to a level that we were doing before the pandemic, starting to be able to bring fighters in. Obviously we brought Andy in from Thailand, so it's starting to feel like it's old days again.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. The main Rebellion card, always good matchups. A lot of them are Australian. So starting off, we have Andy Savosky from the Czech Republic versus the Fire from the Shire, Hugh O'Donnell from Sydney, Sit Chu Ton Gym. That's going to be a great matchup. Also, I'm very excited for Soraya Hamami versus Joanna La, who Soraya also from Sit Chu Ton, been doing very well. Met her about 4 or 5 years ago over in Thailand. Joanna doing very well out here on the Australian scene, out of 8 Blade, right?
Yeah, so she trains under Superboy, who's Superbon's brother, and Joanne hasn't lost a fight for a long time. I think she's only got 2 career losses, about 15 wins, and it's getting very difficult to match her in Australia. So her last fight was against Ada, and if she overcomes Soraya, you know, I think the next step's a big international opponent, potentially for a world title.
And then we have a couple other fights on the card. Two Winner Muay Thai is fighting.
Yeah, so Tom, who used to be Tom Sitjatong, he's a real Melbourne favourite, and he's basically fought every super lightweight in Australia and beaten him. He recently fought Chad Collins on, I think, 24 hours notice. So, and by all accounts, it was a very close fight. He's fought Sam Bark previously.
Yeah,
that was a massive fight.
That.
He beat Roy Wills, Alexi Petroulius. So he's a really big fan favourite in the east coast of Australia. Duke from WA, he's kind of done a lot of the same stuff over there. And, you know, he fought Superbank on Muay Thai Grand Prix and beat him. It's a fight that's been coming for a while. And, you know, sometimes we're a bit hesitant of putting Thai versus Thai in a single match in Australia, because sometimes they don't necessarily sort of fight their heart out for it. But I know both these guys they don't want to lose their reputation in Australia, so they'll be going for it. That's a really exciting fight. And then we've got Ramesh the Headhunter Habib. He's a long-time Rebellion favourite. He's fighting Sak Mongol from Revolution Muay Thai. Sak Mongol's a little bit smaller, but super experienced. I believe he's a former Omnoy Stadium champion too when he was younger. So Ramesh will definitely have the size advantage, but he's always struggled a little bit with the sort of trickier Thai fighters, and this will be a good challenge for him.
We also have River Daz rounding out the card, correct?
Yeah, so River last fought during our lockdown show. So we did a show September 3 last year, which was during the COVID lockdowns, and there was a no audience show, and he fought Alexi Petroulius. And then since then, he's basically been exclusively boxing, and he's making his Muay Thai return against Zach Einerson. Zach fought Chris Nguyen recently. Zach's from Rittler's gym, and his last fight on Rebellion was against Chris Nguyen, who's a one championship fighter, another Rebellion favourite, and that was a fight that could have gone either way. So River's moving down in weight. He's going to fight Zach, and I think Zach's up for the challenge. River's obviously a bit of a favourite here in Melbourne, but you know, you got two really great trainers, Hammer with River and Darren Riddler-Reese, so it'll be a real chess match.
Yeah, very, very exciting stuff going on. I'm super excited to be helping out and commentating at the show tomorrow. The show is sold out, correct? Or there's just a few
standing tickets.
Yeah, a few standing tickets. However, the live stream will be up and available. You can check it out on rebellion.com.au.
rebellionmuaythai.com.au.
So definitely check it out. Great international level fights and a lot going on in the world of Muay Thai. Anything else you'd like to say before we round things out?
No, it's great to have you here finally, Matt, and great to have Andy and Jenny here too. So good to have the Fairtex team back in Australia. It's been a while.
All right, we'll see you soon.